What up, world? It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Today we got with us Professor X. How you doing, brother?
What's happening? What's happening? What's good? Happy to be here. Super Fact Show.
Chilling, chilling. For those who ain't familiar, y'all can check out our earlier episode. But just briefly, X has been behind the scenes for many major things, and we gonna go through a lot of that today. But I guess let's start off with where are you from and what was it like growing up?
I'm originally from South Central Los Angeles, and how I was growing up was pretty rough, man. We grew up in almost impoverished areas. It's not Africa impoverished, but it's impoverished when it comes to American standards. We at the bottom, at the on the totem pole when it comes to LA, because LA has it's in rich areas like the Beverly Hills and um the Hollywood Hills and things of that nature. So we're looking down upon from that angle, and we only have so much to go around. When you're living in a ghetto. So just like any other ghetto, everybody is scratching to surviving. Coming up, whether you got two parents bond together to make a good living situation for you, or you got people on the streets hustling to make it better for their family or whatever. But at the same time, hold on one second.
You good? When that happens, you can keep talking. Your screen just turns black. We can still hear you.
Okay, my bad. I ain't know.
No, it's all good.
At the same time, it was dope because we played sports. We play sideline pop. People don't know. I don't know if people know what sideline pop is. That's just a little street football game you play. And if you get caught on the side of the curve, you're gonna get knocked into the ground or the grass or whatever's there. A car, it could be a car there. You're gonna get hit into a car. And then we play basketball where we turn milk crates into basketball courts and hoops and stuff, and hung them on gates and whatnot just to hold them upright. Or we played
Why that was? There wasn't courts, or like you couldn't go to the courts because they was in like op territory or whatever.
A lot of times your parents don't want you to leave your street because it's dangerous where you live, and anything can happen when you turn a corner, and something can happen to you. You may not have a voice or be able to get some help, because in an urban community, it's not like a southern home community where people help each other. Like it's a doggy dog world when you live in a concrete jungle like we do in South Central Los Angeles or New York or any other ghetto across America. So it wasn't all bad, but just imagine trying to just imagine Kendrick Lamar's what was it Good Kid, Mad City Good Kid or something like that.
Good Kid, Mad City, yeah.
The concept of that is we grew up in a fucked up community, but we were all good kids. You know what I'm saying? We all had good intention to do something well. So, either basketball or playing sports was most of our dreams of getting up out the ghetto. And if we didn't have that, we tried to be, we wanted to be up and coming rap stars. You know what I'm saying? And in the early 90s rap, we just started getting like an influx of a bunch of artists from the West Coast around that time. The West Coast kind of took off. But there was no information or education on telling you how to get a recording studio. There wasn't much information you can go upon to find things out. Guitar centers didn't exist to us. We may have seen the guitar, but we didn't know it had equipment we can plug up in our rooms and bang out and record, make a record.
Yeah.
So, but we made the best of what we had growing up in the ghetto.
Nah, I know about, bro. Trying to make songs on fucking like boom boxes with a mic running out and all that type shit. Copping karaoke machines. Hey, what era of South Central are we talking about here? We talking like Friday, Boys in the Hood, Snowfall?
All the above. All if you can culminate that all into one box, that all that took place in the timeline. Excuse me. When I came up in the 80s, you had the dope game was the big thing. You got the Freeway Ricky Ross, and Freeway literally lived around the corner from where I grew up at. And if anybody know about gangs in Los Angeles, I grew up in the Hoover criminal area, or Hoover Crips. Is that what if that's what they call? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and then it's a tribal thing here. You got people from different sides of the spectrum that don't like each other. People like Nipsey Hussle's community, my community where I grew up in, that community over there, have been at war for over 40 some years.
Damn, but it's both Crip.
Yeah, it is a Crip, but there's fractions. There's two fractions of Crips in LA. You have the Deuce car and the Trey car, and anything with a zero in it follow under the the Deuce car. Anything with a Trey or anything that the Trey's associated with almost fell up under the Trey car. So then that's when you have the Crips versus Crips. What really is the 2 versus the 3 because it's Deuces and Treys against each other.
And it's more Crips and Bloods, right? Like much more.
In Los Angeles, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely not in other cities. I remember when Blood started coming to DC like that. We used to have like I won't even call them gangs, but like you'd run in your neighborhood. Like I was from Forest Heights, so we were like the 905 mob. But then like when I came home from prison, everybody got dreads and they got in a red bandana and shit because they've been listening to Lil Wayne mixtapes.
Right. But I'm like to outside of Los Angeles, most places in the South, and I don't want to disrespect the gang members that that really cold-heartedly believe in what they stand for with the Blood or the Crip card, but a lot of it is not. It's not in the same vein as the gangbanging that's in Los Angeles. Like it really means war here. It don't really mean war there. You can have nothing but Bloods in the city of Philadelphia or Maryland or DC or some shit like that, and there's no opposition gang to them. They may have a few issues with a few other people, but they're the majority. So you really don't have no issues with no one. When you go down the street, whoever you have problems with is not really trying to shoot at you when they see you all the time.
Right.
But out here, if you from a section and you claim that section and then that section has problem with them other people there, when you see each other, it's actual gun battle. Like I live my life to take your life.
Or now I know about, bro. You can tell the difference between places where people want to be gangbangers and people have to be gangbangers.
But LA, I mean, they do kill for it in different places.
Oh yeah.
But LA is the origin of how it's truly structured. What gangs are allies with each other, or the gangs that beef with each other. You feel me? Like you'll have. Remember, I spoke about the Deuces and Treys. You'll have the Deuces and Treys maybe in the St. Louis, but they all get along. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's different.
Right. It's like being in the army. There's some you might be on light duty where you ain't never in danger. You might be in danger sometimes, in other places every single moment of the fucking day you in danger.
Right. So, but people's different areas create different circumstances. Sometimes you may have to pair with people that you would probably be enemies in LA out of survival.
Right.
But if you ask me all this shit, when you get older and you realize how dumb and ignorant it is to wake up every day to go kill people who look just like you.
Bro, I remember going to prison with gangbangers, and some of them cats was beefing on the streets, but in
jail they paired up.
Yeah, but also with the understanding that, and these motherfuckers would be cool with each other, watching movies together, laughing and all that. But sometimes they'd have conversations like, it's still on when we get out, right?
Yeah.
And then keep on talking and chilling.
Yeah, because inside there you're boxed in. There's a racial thing, so it's like if the Mexicans or the Aryans have issues with us, then if we go against each other while they're going against us, we'll be outnumbered, and then they'll be the favorite inside of that prison.
Right.
So you have no choice but to pair with your ethnicity when you go to jail.
Yeah, it's literally a life or death situation. I saw it.
If you're Hispanic and you hang with blacks, then you better be black for the rest of your life, because inside that thing, you are the enemy, just like the black folks, or vice versa.
Bro, the first time I got locked up in South Carolina. It was not good. It was not good for your boy. The black motherfuckers didn't like me. The white motherfuckers didn't like me.
Right.
But
and it's crazy. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how did all this affect you though, growing up? I ain't never into getting people to tell them on themselves, but then you sent me some stuff. So did you get involved? I was raised by the ACG. I tell it in my stories. Now I never got
jumped in the game because my uncles are the ones who created it.
Gotcha.
I don't have to join some shit. I didn't move from one neighborhood to another. I don't have to prove myself.
Right.
I'm connected through my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And I'm riding for him. If something happens to him, I'm riding for him. So if that means he stands for this, then I stand for that too.
And this is this Uncle Ray? Is that or Uncle Ronnie? Uncle Ronnie?
Yeah.
But he wasn't just doing that though. Like he also influenced you to rap.
Well, hey, I never seen him as no gang member, nothing like that. He just had a gang. He had a group of guys that, you know, were just in the community. And it just went like that. You feel me? He had so much love and respect. I don't want to put the gangbang card on no one. But no one calls, I don't know what harm was ever done to anybody else, but all I do know growing up that it was war going back and forth on that street with different people.
Word.
You know, not with each other, but with just other people coming over. So I don't know what was done prior, because that, as children, we don't see that. We only see, you know, the elders are you know, not our peers, but the ones we aspire to be like. We just love hanging with them because we see them getting money. You know,
let me ask you this though. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm curious because I remember this, and if you were alive at that time, do you remember seeing cats that you looked up to turn into crackheads? Because I remember that shit vividly, because it would happen so fucking fast. Like it wasn't like Wanda on Snowfall. That shit used to happen in like 10 fucking days. Like it should be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in any other place but LA, but I tell you about LA, when crack hit, it hit hard. I know it hit everywhere else too, but I didn't live anywhere else. I only knew LA. So, you know, pastors that preach at your church is on crack.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, I'm from the DC area. Our fucking mayor got caught smoking crack. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, I mean, and you gotta think, there's no education. Once drugs came, there was so much money around.
Right.
You know, a lot of us was getting. I was telling somebody the other day that it kind of improved our economy for Black people, because this is the first time Black people ever was experiencing having money. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, like making $1 million in a month or 2 months or less. Like, what occupation was providing those kind of finances? Yeah, we didn't understand that as much money as you can accumulate, how much damage you're doing to the people around you.
Right.
Because as one person rise, another person falls. And I guess there's no education to teach us that both lives matter in the equation, because that person who falls down is my auntie or my uncle, and his kids suffer from that shit. So as kids go through things in life, maybe if my father's selling dope and we up and we having money and we buying things, yeah, we living good, but at the expense of what?
Exactly.
I'm having a good life, but my family having trauma when they get older, and now they're defected, and now when they have their kids defected because they're tormented from shit that happened to them in their timeline, their journey, their life.
Like coldest winter ever.
So it's like, you know, like we've done so much damage to each other. It's so difficult to understand who to blame, because we don't take accountability for our actions when it comes to the shit that we've done. We don't want to say, well, I apologize. Let us put money together to help re-strengthen, rebuild black as one unit culture. I mean, that can go from city to city until it's a domestic thing around America, where all the Black folks come together in their different towns and put money together, raise money, and find someone who we can trust. Because that's one thing about Black people: we don't trust no one. You know what I'm saying? We don't trust white people because white people are the reason why we're here and why we're suffering. You know, so it's like, but then you have a few allies who are white that we get along with, but then you have some Black people who don't looking like, why you fuck with me? It's gonna be somebody like, why you fuck with that white boy? But be skeptical of that white boy. Remember, he white. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, it's hard to be the human race and shit one human race when inside the human race, black folks are taking the biggest beatdowns.
Yeah, no question. Well, I mean, I guess the natives might beg to defer, but your overall point for sure, especially worldwide historically.
The reason why I say us is, yeah, they took your land, but they gave you something. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah, they gave him smallpox, and then they gave him alcohol.
True. But they gave him a reservation.
Some of them, yeah. You know, every native reservation don't got that casino shit. There's still plenty of poor reservations. If you ain't ever seen it, bro, you should check out this show called Res Dogs on Hulu. You watch that shit?
No, but I agree with you saying to me. I'm just saying something was giving to them, whether it was they didn't give black people shit.
Word. But you know when it was given, to them, they used to split their families up and make them change their names. Like it was the same playbook.
Right.
You know, give them Christianity, all that type shit. Change their name to like John and things.
Yeah, white America or Europe ideology has fucked up the world as we know it. You know, we love hip hop, right? We love hip hop is what brought us together, right?
Yeah.
And we all can agree that Kool Herc created what is hip hop today.
I'd agree.
You know, so with hip hop wasn't made to. Nobody created music for us to make hip hop. We took something that was there and found a way to enjoy it, and we converted it into what we did today.
Exactly.
So we're not like a genre. We're a culminated, made up genre of a plethora of different styles: jazz, blues, rock,
Caribbean. Yeah, exactly.
Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like a what do you call it? A melting pot full of shit. You dig?
Exactly. Definitely.
And we don't. And then it's like, you know, someone making mistakes on the drum machine. Someone figure how to figure how to sample snares and shit to where we at today.
Word.
So
word. I mean, yeah, the fucking do it yourself nature of hip hop is a beautiful thing. But how did Uncle Ronnie get you into music?
Well, my uncle was always hip. The dude had like the 1985 Nissan King cab, and he put four 15-inch subwoofers in the back of his truck.
Good Lord, that thing must have been rocking.
Oh my God, I thought it was equivalent to George Clinton and the mothership. That's what I thought his truck was, the mothership to me. And he had an Alpine radio and all these little wires and shit that I didn't know, but I was so fascinated with the car because I'm like, and he would play, and then, you know, my uncle's old school. You know, when we were coming up in the 80s, there wasn't no hip hop. Well, it was, but we didn't have a lot of West Coast rappers in the 80s, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Hip hop was a brand new genre of something. So by 87, 88, you know, we're hearing Vapors and shit from Biz Markie, and then we hear this record called Boys in the Hood, cruising down the street in my 6'4". And when you hear it, it goes, when Eazy-E come in rapping, it's just like some ticks. And then it go into that heavy ass guitar strum, and that bass. And I was in love ever since that day. And because the record has so much cussing in it, I can only listen to it when I'm with him.
Right.
And then he would go to church sometimes on Sundays, and I would love to ride in the car with him because he would always play it for me. This is the only time I get a chance to hear it. Like, you gotta think that record wasn't on the radio like that at first. It was a record they bootlegged and put it in all the swap meets, and people was just, you know, getting free TDK tapes or buying them, depending on how high it was. But they were just flooding them. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So
everybody was getting a whiff of their bootleg shit, but they took off once everybody was banging in their rides. And then, yeah, I guess Ruthless was born once they had a demand for the music that they were creating. But how we got it first was how people be selling music out the trunks. You could just giving a CD away or selling it. It wasn't. It was a TDK tape that said "Boys in the Eazy-E, Boys in the Hood."
Damn, I wish I had one of them motherfuckers.
I do. Me too. Me too. I always was looking for the cassette inside my uncle's little box and shit to make a duplicate, but he had hit that motherfucker for me, I guess, because he knew I love that motherfucker so much. But you know,
So how'd you get started rapping?
well, I was like I said, the nigga had the mothership car. I was like, if I can make something like what I'm playing in the car, I don't know how to do it. Maybe I got to try to put together. My cousin had like this little fucking radio with a record on top of it. It had to like do a cassette recorder thing on it. And I realized that I remember Parliament had a song called She a Big Old Freak, She a Big Old Wig. I think De La Soul used the sample. Just Me, Myself, and I.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the original George Clinton sample. My uncle had the original vinyl. So I put the vinyl on the thing and made like a loop tape as best as I could, looping it back. I would put tape on the actual spot where it can loop back and forth. And if you would have to really sync that loop right in order to get that tape right. But what I started doing was I started mimicking Easy E, and then he loved Too Short as well, and just trying to do the best I could to mimic what they were doing. So trying to write shit down. So what I did was I just kept at it, kept working, kept writing, and then I fell in love with the shit, and it just surpassed the feeling of trying to audition the music in my uncle's car to see if he would like it.
Got you. So then you started letting other people hear it.
Well, it took some years for it to develop. I didn't really get a chance to express my full desire of music really until maybe 90, 98, 99. That's when I started really putting money together. I got this, someone put me, well, actually my cousin Black put me on to Guitar Center and took me up for the first time, and I discovered what I needed. Hold on, I'm going to interview. So, yeah, I ended up going to Guitar Center and discovered I needed a 4-track recorder. My auntie, I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so my auntie had like this little Radio Shack microphone. We took that, and then my cousin had bought a little Dr. Boss drum machine from one of the magazines back in the days that, you know, if you order, he used his financial aid check to go buy the little drum machine and shit. So that was the first time that we was able to create music and listen to it with our words on it and be marveled at that shit like, this shit sound terrible. But I fell in love with the process.
Word, I can dig it. So what's Black and Chief?
Black and Chief are my blood relatives and my cousins. One's my mama's, I'm sorry, my father and their two mothers are brothers and sisters.
Gotcha.
And when I got in back in 97, they pretty much was the ones that was there that would help me get to my doctor's appointments and shit, and make sure I get to the dentist and all that. They were my help before I ended up getting some more help as I got older. So they was there in the beginning when I was rapping and shit. They were, matter of fact, we were a group called Family Mob, and then we became the Dollar Boys and shit like that. And then, you know, eventually when the music don't take off and people start having families, you got to go get you a job, and when a job takes away from what you know, if you want something that you probably like to do, but sometimes people don't have real passion for it. They just want to make money. And right. I just think that's what my cousins was into. They just want to make money, but they wasn't passionate. But I was always passionate about music. So I just stuck with it when they decided to just let it go.
So then what was your next move at that point?
Buying more equipment, learning how to use ins and outs of drum machines. And then what's that movie called, what they say, what's that movie where they built the baseball field? You build it, they'll come. Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, yeah.
So I built a recording studio in my garage with the sensibility that I was obtaining, and more just people, just word of mouth start flowing. Oh, B got a studio in his garage. B got a studio in his garage. That's what people call me to know me. B got a studio in his garage. Man, go over there, go fuck with him. And then, you know, I only wanted to be a little brother to my big brother, which is Black, which is my cousin, but I don't have no brothers. So they were my big brothers to me. I just wanted to be a little brother and just hang with them because, like I said, I'm injured, I'm fucked up. I don't have no friends because, you know, people, you know, when your friends go to school, you go to school from somewhere far out and shit, you ain't going to that same school no more because you rehabilitating. you know, your friends become who's closer to you at this point. And it was
Right.
them. So we just, wherever they did, I just wanted to hang out and do the shit with them. And we ended up doing music together. And then, like I said, they decided to go on and do their thing. And I just kept it going. But I never wanted to be a producer. I never wanted to be an engineer. I always loved rapping, but I gave up rapping because back in the day when I'm recording on a 4-track, they don't have the punch and stop, the punch and stop like you do the computer.
Right.
You have it, but it's not as prevalent as it is on the computer. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So it, you know, for my lung capacity, it was hard to motherfucking just get that wind and cut it off short.
Word.
Say a few lines and then stop, you know, without you gasping for air. You feel me?
No, I can dig it. I remember them dad tapes.
So, you know, I gave it up, and you know, once I started getting rappers, I'm like, fuck it, I just know how to just make beats and just tell them make beats for them. And then I didn't, you know, I'm from the West Coast, and everybody know West Coast is known for that funk or that mob type shit.
Right.
And I had neither. I had none of that stuff. My shit sounded like some 1998 Soldier Boy shit. You know, them first Soldier Boy pack beats and shit. Like it's just drum and bass with a little sound in that motherfucker.
Right.
You know, my shit was sounding like they was sounding more like down south shit on the cutting edge of something brand new than West Coast. But I'm making something that sounds brand new. I'm trying my best to make some West Coast shit, but this shit sound like some No Limit type shit because I'm a No Limit fan at the time. No, 98, 97, 98, I'm a big No Limit head.
Me too.
So KLC is one of my favorite producers in the whole wide world, and I'm like, fuck it, I can't make beats like the West Coast. And Swiss Beats and KLC became like my go-to main producers that I just fell in love with the style. It just seemed like they just made organized noise sound good.
Word.
So yeah, I got into producing, and I started producing for a bunch of acts that came in the garage and was fucking with me. And then, you know, out of around 2006, you know, my cousin Lost died along with 2 other members. I formed a group called 110, which is like the main interstate from our city. 110 is the artery of our city that takes us to where we from. And the artery of that freeway divides the sides of the city people live in. So on one side of the 110 freeway is the east side, and on the other side of the 110 is the west side. And 2 of us was from the west side, and then 1 of them was from the east side. So I thought the name of the group was fucking perfect. And then I used the logo of the highway, which gave us a logo. So everywhere we went, I branded the fuck out that motherfucker where everybody knew us. Everybody, they didn't even know their individual name. They just knew about 110 every time I sent it because I branded so hard.
You stay on that brand and shit. I like that new t-shirt you got.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, shit. I learned from my predecessors, man, the E40s, the Mac Dre's, the Too Shorts, the Snoop Dogs, the Ice Cubes, the Mac 10, you know, the DJ Quicks and stuff. Like these are my forefathers, but E40 taught me so much, you know, even from afar. You know, he's my favorite living rapper to date, and you know, one of my favorite, you know, hustlers when it comes to marketing their brands.
Man, he don't get nowhere near the credit he deserves. First double disc, all that type shit.
I don't think he was the first double disc.
First one I ever seen. It was definitely before Tupac and Biggie.
I think Too Short had one.
See,
Shorty the Pimp. I think
it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not the hippest. I think the first Too Short album I ever bought was like that retirement joint.
No, well, go 2 albums before that. There was a double disc that he put out. Tupac, I think, put out the first official double disc that had like, I think it was like more than like, maybe 10 songs or some shit. Something like that. But E40 did come out with a double disc 2 years after Pac passing. The Element of Surprise.
E40 is the truth. I've always loved E40.
That's my guy.
And then you went from admiring him from afar, and you actually ended up interacting with him, and you got somewhat of a relationship with him, right?
Right. Through his favorite artist, and one of his main artists is his cousin by the name of Turf Talk. And I met
definitely know Turf Talk. I love Turf Talk.
And I met Turf Talk through one of my cousins that live in the Bay Area. I was calling her one day, and she was on the phone with him. I just asked her what was she doing. She saw on the phone with this boy named Turf Talk. But I had just bought E40's, I think it was called Married to the Ave or something like that. Well, I can't think of the name of the album. But he had just dropped that album back in '03. And I seen the name on there. I said, is that the same dude that I just seen fuck with E40? She said, yeah, that's him. I'm like, damn, man, link me up with him. I want to do some beats with him and shit. So back then we was using chirps and shit. I had this number, but we would chirp more often than anything.
Right.
And
Nextel Jones. I remember that shit.
And I think I would just geek the fact that I feel like I'm getting closer to the dream of being connected with somebody in the music industry that I'm pumped that this shit could be a reality. You dig? I always want to meet E40. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something crazy about that shit. So I ended up meeting him. I ended up making a record that he liked, and he took it, but he didn't use it. He didn't use that. And then I ended up directing his first music video he ever put out.
Turf Talk.
Turf Talk. I directed his first video.
Was that your first video directing?
Yeah. It's called Bitch I'm Platinum. It was my first time behind the camera, behind the scenes, putting everything together to shoot a music video.
What was the hardest part?
The hardest part probably of doing the video was once you have a video, where the fuck you gonna put this video? Because we don't have YouTube. This is 3 years before YouTube came into existence. So mind you, we have a DVD with a music video, but the Final Cut Pro is not at its final advanced status. So although it is a music video, it still look like a homemade video was made. So, but we have, you know how cable channels had that Channel 3 network, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ain't nobody fucking finna listen to this shit on Channel 3. So I almost feel like it was a waste of nothing, but it was really like, it got my feet wet when it came to the directing part. See, people don't know that I've been behind the scenes on directing for years.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You feel me? And then me making, like I said, me producing records and me really, see, I'm not a beat maker. I'm a real producer. I really be in there from the top when I make the record from scratch to when I record the artist, and then I have to mix the music. You dig? So I'm there from every stage of the process of recording music. Right. I've done it all, to helping them write hooks, to even doing the hooks for them. You know, I was always, you know, thinking left and out the box. I was always I had an unorthodox kind of style of how I did music because of how the music that I listened to. I had like an eclectic taste of styles of music that I loved. I like just as much as I like E40, I like 8-Ball and MJG. Just as much as I like 8-Ball MJG, I like Lords of the Underground.
Really?
Yeah. So
Lords of the Underground. That's a Chief Rocker shit, right?
Chief Rocker #1, Chief. Redman, Method Man, you know, Brand Nubian, Grand Poobah.
Hey, you know, I'm curious about. Did you get down with the Cool G rap? And not like you're not known enough. Like did it make its way out there? Because like in DC,
no,
you know, like some tapes there'll be like 2 of, and others there'll be like 20 of.
No,
like I got the Cool G rap only because I was there the day it came out. There was only like 2 in the store, and I ain't never see that shit get restocked either. No,
Cool G rap wasn't big in the West Coast. Music that was big on the West Coast was music that they played on the radio. That was what ran. That was what ran LA. You feel me? So if Salt and Pepper had Push It, and that was on the radio, that was what was big in LA. If Ron DMC came out with something, that was what LA was on. LL Cool J.
It was Stetsasonic from LA?
No, Stetsasonic from New York, I believe. New York.
They the ones that had that Push It Response record, right?
I think, I don't know. I don't remember so much of their music. I know who they are though. I remember it was like three man group.
Man, I can't remember the song, how the song went, but it was like a Push It response, and I remember they was like, if you push it, it won't return. Like how some back in the 80s, somebody make a song and somebody didn't even know them would make like a song going at them and shit.
Yeah. But I didn't mean to break on what I was saying, but I directed and I produced for one of Turf projects, and even me doing all that, I still didn't meet E40. I still didn't get close to E40, even though this is his executive CEO. You know, and put him on, I would be getting, you know, I would see him on stage if I go see Turf perform in the Bay Area, but I haven't had an interactive one-on-one. What I forgot about, I did see him on stage before I actually met him. And then just so happened, I had found this deal with this guy named John Ferguson. He had this company called Phase One, and Phase One was like a subsidiary of Fontana Distribution by way of Universal Records. And you know, I'm not trying to be a label whore, but I feel if I put this stamp on my picture or something, people will take me a little more serious.
Right.
So I'm thinking like maybe I can put this, once I sign with them, I can go utilize Turf Talk's brand along with the little Sick With It logo and make people think I'm a part of the Sick With It conglomerate collective whole. And I can make people believe I'm bigger than what I am because I don't have much help. It's really just me in a wheelchair. I'm producing, directing, editing videos, and making contacts and networking. All this shit was done by a cell phone in a wheelchair.
Damn.
So I got a moniker saying, "Can you outwork the handicap?" But back to the Turf situation, he didn't introduce me to him properly. Not right away. So what happened was the guy who I signed the little deal with, there's a convention that he putting together of how to, you know, for up and coming artists. Like it's for the independent artists, like an independent artist review type shit, you know?
Yeah.
So they're teaching up and coming how to, you know, sell their music and et cetera, and shit like that. I'm like, because digital is starting to come in, but it's not here yet. But it's the future. They know it's going to come, but they don't know when it's going to hit. But we already have Apple iTunes and music up there, but it's not the biggest place to go listen to music at the time.
Right.
So I'm learning this shit, and I see when I get out the car, I see one of E40's artists named La Rue. He go by Hit a Slim now. He's pretty dope. If you end up on Hit a Slim, check out Hit a Slim. That's my guy La Rue. And I seen this DJ Juice. I'm like, I told Lost God and my boy Jizzle, go and talk to them, take the camera, go film them, go network. You know what I'm saying? Go build you some rapport, relationships with everything. I knew this shit back then. You feel me?
Yep.
And then I seen E40 hype man. His name was Big Meezy. Now I didn't reach out to Meezy a few times prior to me meeting him because I knew he had something to do with Sick With It. I want to connect with everybody because I really want to be a part of this team.
Got you.
I didn't have no limit. Sick With It was closest thing I could get to want to be a part of something. I always wanted to be a part of something.
Word.
As far as the music game, and I thought that's the family I wanted to be a part of. Be Legit taught me something about that. Be Legit told me one day, I called him because I wanted to be part of his situation too. Anybody dealing with Sick With It, I was like, man, fuck with me. I just need a shot. All I need is a shot to prove what I do it all. You know, but nobody wants to hear I do it all kind of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People like to see it and then want to deal with you when it comes because they see what they want, they see what they can benefit from you. So Be Legit put his partner on the phone, Twiceberg Slim. Twiceberg Slim said, hey man, why would you want to sign a deal with somebody, man? If I put the money up for you and you sell records, you're not gonna make no money back until I get my money back from what I'm doing.
Right.
So Twiceberg Slim and Be Legit was actually trying to save me for signing with anybody. And I tried to sign with people before, but you know, people like I just feel like you know too much and you're gonna be asking questions about how you gonna make your money. So I think it was best in my best interest to stay independent.
Damn, they told you straight like that? At least shit, I'd rather have a motherfucker be honest, right?
I mean, I didn't want to hear that shit back then, but I respect it today because the game is fully independent, but they were trying to protect me from what it is today. You can sign yourself and make something out of you. But I'm like, I want to put my CDs in stores, man. I'm just trying to figure out a way how to do this, man. I want to put a CD in a store. I just want to just tell somebody to go buy my shit.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Buy my shit, please. I'm buying everybody else shit. I know I can make music now. I'm doing the best that I can, but I want to put some shit in stores and the guys around me, Lost God, they believing that I can make things happen. So like I got the weight on their shoulder on my back because I told them that I could get it done for them. But what happened was with the distribution I had with Fontana, they wasn't allowed. The guy told me, John Ferguson told me, Violet Brown. Have you ever heard of Violet Brown?
I haven't.
Google Violet Brown. Violet Brown is a very, very pivotal person to hip hop when it comes to CDs and all that shit. Look her up. If you watch the Wu-Tang Saga movie or the Wu-Tang shit, whatever that shit's called, they mention her name on that shit. But she was very important in distributing music into the stores. And if you didn't have a buzz, they said Violent Brown wouldn't put your music in the stores.
Gotcha.
So that was the conversation that John had with me. So I was discouraged. And, you know, and then he had this In-Grooves thing. I don't know people know who In-Grooves was. In-Grooves was one of the first digital distribution program platforms before all these other motherfuckers came.
Yeah, I know about In-Grooves, but yeah, that's probably not common knowledge.
Okay. So you heard of Empire Distribution, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, Ghazi came from the In-Grooves structure. He worked the urban department at In-Grooves. Now I don't know if Ghazi ever did something to John, but John was not really fond of Ghazi. But he mentioned it, and he was like, yeah, because I was asking him questions about the game, and he was telling me as best he could. And he told me about the urban department over In-Grooves. That oh yeah, this dude, that guy, he's done running and woo woo. And then I ended up finding out sometime down the stretch when somebody who knew about In-Grooves, they said Ghazi had left, or I think I read something he had left. But I didn't know who Ghazi was or what he looked like. I didn't know where he was from or anything, right? So I'm in San Francisco visiting one of my cousins, my cousin Gourmet, that one who's on my project, on my music and shit, Gotti Gourmet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever related him the message to you. I mean to you, right? So I'm in the debate with him, and his mentor was like, yeah, I'm working with this dude. I'm doing something with this guy named Ghazi. I'm like, it's got to be the same guy that was with In-Grooves. And I think somehow it got back to me, it was him. So my cousin Gotti hooked me up with his mentor, and the mentor gave me the number to Ghazi. And the following day, I called him. And I asked him, I said, man, I heard you left In-Grooves or something. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what you got going on, what's next on the menu. So he said, man, I just started my company called Empire Distribution and shit. Right now, we're just a digital distribution. We just sign an artist and put music up. Right now, all we have is Too Short and Daz Dillinger. You know, I mean, it probably was a few others, but those are the names that I remember at the time.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, man, I want the same situation they got. He said, well, meet me in my office. He had a small office in in the patrol area of San Francisco, like near downtown. You know, this is before it got big and fancy and stuff and became Empire as today. It was just a small little office. And Ghazi came down and sat in the back truck of my car, talked to me and my cousin Gourmet for almost about an hour, almost 2 hours about what he had going on, what he was doing. And I was wooed by from the first time he told me what I could do with the digital distribution shit. I could upload as much as I want. It don't cost me a fee. He just takes 20%. I get 80. All right, send me the contract. Let's run it. And when he gave me the contract, I tried to help everybody I could. I tried to help King T, BG Knockout, 211 that was with Jeezy at the time.
Yeah.
Shit, Compton Menace that was with Game. I was trying to inform them there was this new thing that you guys need to be a part of, because selling CDs is already a thing of the past, but it's gonna even be more of a thing of the past in the future. And y'all think y'all need to sign and put y'all music up here because you guys got a shitload of music in y'all computers, but y'all not making no money from it. So I was thinking like that back then, 10 years ago.
How'd they respond?
Some signed contracts and some just kind of hesitated because they didn't understand what they were doing. I even brought OG the Juice Man to Empire. So if you ever listen to when OJ was on Big Facts with DJ Scream, he tells people, he said, I got so many projects on TuneCore, and I took one project over to Empire. I'm the one that brought him to Empire.
Man, that's what's up.
So yeah, but like I said, back with the E40 thing, I ended up meeting 40 coming through a hotel. Cause I saw all this other little team members and shit, and my lost guy was with me and Jizzle. And it was like, I'm like, dude, E40 here, man. I should wait right here because I think I'm gonna bump into him coming out to the lobby. Man, them dudes left me where I was, and and said, fuck that shit. About 10 minutes after leaving, I ended up looking up and seeing E40 coming off the elevator in the back. I saw him from the balcony coming through the elevator, and I got nervous because I'm like, this is E40, man. I'm finally getting a chance to see the dude in person, like right. He's like walking right past me. If it wasn't for two fans that stopped him that wanted to take a picture, I would never probably built the balls to say nothing. But I'm like, if I don't say nothing right now, forever hold my peace. So
Right.
I just said, you know, one of them nervous ass kids that just scream some shit and then look around and shit, just see the reaction. You feel me? That was what it was with me. So I'm like, E40. He looked, because I'm in a wheelchair, so I'm shorter than him in the wheelchair. So he looking left, he looked right, and then he looked down, and he looked like, you hit me, man? And I was like, yeah. I like, man, I got a record with you called Getting That Glocc. And it's on the radio. And he said, you got a record with me? Because I had bought a verse from him through Turf Talk maybe about a year prior. And he didn't know it was us that flipped it, and I put some money that I had on the side and put on the radio. So he didn't know it was me that did that put everything together.
Damn, thank God you spoke up.
You're right. And I told him I'm producing shit. So he gave me his number and shit like that. And I told him, I said, man, I'm Turfy folks, man. He was like, oh, okay. Once he put 2 and 2, he realized I was the guy that Turf went through to go do what. And he know he know I was there helping Turf do what he was doing. So that's when me and E40 built, you know, our little communication that we end up building. And plus, from that point on, I just kept popping up. I would see him in Texas, Northern California. I even toured with them with Turf Talk on a Fast Money tour with me, Lost God, and a few other people for like 10 days. I think he was on there for 3 out of the 7 to 10 days that we did. So it was a good thing to kind of build up and join with him, and along with Keek the Sneak. You know what I'm saying? If you're familiar with Keek the Sneak is, I got a chance to tour with him and just kind of see how people are. I didn't know they were so interactive to nobodies and shit. You know, I would consider ourselves nobody. Like, we knew we don't know nothing, but here Keek the Sneak in here is asking my DJ, which is our barber, to cut his hair.
Yeah. Everybody regular people, right?
Well, you end up learning as you go. And you realize they just as regular. Then they, you know, Keek the Sneak is back in the day, he was a wild boy, man. You know, he was just a wild dude, just a little, you know, a little young titan, just doing his little wild thug thing.
Hey, how he sound when he talk? Do he sound
like
he
rap? He rap? Yeah, but a little lighter, because you know when you rap, you put more energy into it. Right. But he got that raspy voice when he talk. Yo, but Keek a good dude, man. Shout out to Keek the Sneak, for real. He's a good dude.
I fucks with Keek the Sneak. I got a joint this I made it myself. There was all shits he did with Mac Dre. I always thought they should have had an album.
Right. But
man,
that one,
and when I put them together, bro, that shit fit together well too. Sorry to cut you off, but man, they really should have had an album. You know what I
mean? Yeah. But I was gonna end off that this off that meeting with E40 connected the dots with me, him, and Turf Talk, and we just built and bonded from that point on, and it's been love ever since.
So, are you still cool with Turf Talk?
Oh, that's my brother.
So you've been around for most of his career?
I've been around shit from the beginning. Shit. I don't want to say the very beginning, but I would say I was from the early stages when he just started, maybe about a year off in his career. I was there.
Hey, this might be esoteric as fuck, but you know what my favorite Turf Talk song is? He did a jump with you know who Noe is? Dude from Bird Gang that sound like Jay-Z?
Nah.
I will look up Turf Talk and Noe. That shit go hard as fuck.
How you spell it?
N-O-E.
Noe.
N-O-E. Know the name, know the difference. He sounded just like Jay-Z, so that kind of like naturally, you know what I'm saying? So that
right.
That kind of set him back. Like he was my foray into rap, kind of like how Turf was in the year with you. And he told me he took a meeting with Dame after Dame left Rockefeller, and he was like, I want to, but I can't do it because Noe is like after Cameron got to be the nicest lyrically in the whole Dipset collective.
Right.
But that Jay-Z voice held him back. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I was just curious about that. You mentioned OJ the Juice Man, and then you ended up working on a whole project with him and Lost, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. That was funny how that came about too, because I always was a fan of OJ and Gucci Man, especially when they came out with the Brick Squad movement. That was my favorite time. One of my favorite times in the music game is when they came out with the Brick Squad movement. You feel me?
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
So,
making the Brick Squad movement, OJ Juice Man.
Oh yeah, my bad. The call fucked me up. So I'm on Twitter one day. I'm with my homeboy Mo Bucks. I was helping my homeboy Mo Bucks, free Mo Bucks. He was I was pushing him as an artist at one point, and he a blood rapper from Inglewood. And I'm on Twitter and I see this dude that say he's the CEO of 32 Entertainment, which I know that to be Juice label. It ended up being my homeboy 32 later on, but 32 was doing managerial work for OJ. So I seen that he was claiming blood, the same set my homeboy was claiming, but from a Memphis chapter. So I told my homeboy from Inglewood, you need to tap in with him and connect with him because maybe he be our connection to OJ Juice Man. I already had residency in Atlanta. So, and my girl was living at my house at the time in Atlanta. So I'm like, I can kill two birds with one stone. We can go out there, go see, we go meet them, they go network and shit. And I can go get a chance to go see her for a little bit. You feel me?
Or I can dig it.
So it's crazy because it took us 5 days to fucking meet the dude. We was fucking on a goose chase because my boy was saying OJ wasn't rapping no more. He ain't doing his rap shit and whoop, whoop, whoop. And you know, he was giving like saying I just can't connect with the nigga. He say he gonna be free today, but we you know, for some reason we just not connected. So one day out of the blue, he pulls up to his old neighborhood in Boulder Crest at the Texaco, and he ended up meeting me and my boy Mo Bucks and shit. You know, I didn't really get out.
You went to that famous Texaco?
Right. I didn't get out the truck that day because it was cold as hell. But my boy got out and he got a chance to talk to him. I really didn't get a chance to talk to him until I came back to Atlanta a few months later. Then we was in the studio with it was Corey Mo from
Corey Mo,
UGK, you know Corey Mo, right?
Right. Fucking yeah.
I was at Corey Mo studio and OJ and Juice Man was doing an album with Criminal Man from Memphis.
Yeah. Shout out Criminal Man.
Right. Shout out Criminal Man. He was a cool dude. And I ended up breaking the door hinge off of Corey Mo's studio, man. And Corey Mo was hell. He was like, I mean, Corey Mo was so cool, man. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of cool that he didn't you know, he didn't kick me out. But that relationship right there ended up the reason why we ended up doing the album. Now the album was going to be a project with Mo Bucks and him, but Mo Bucks ended up going to jail. And I didn't want to lose the relationship and not doing the project. So Lost God was up to bat next.
Gotcha.
So then OJ came to LA to come do a show for Code 45. Because I guess they was doing some sponsoring for him. You heard me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And we linked up with him out here. And we just built a little bond. And then when I went back to Georgia, I had lost his contact and shit. So I had called a number that he had, but he still had it, but I think he just turned it back on. And when I told him who I was and where I was, he gave me his number again. And then I asked him, I said, man, what's up with doing that project? He said, man, let's do it. Come on, I'm free Saturday. Meet me at the studio, bring your beats and all that shit and all that. And we ended up doing it. We did about 5 songs that night, and them the 5 songs that I put out.
And I mean, that shit definitely did a lot for Lost Guy's career. That's the first time I heard his name.
It did a whole lot because, like I said, it introduced Lost Guy to an OJ fan base.
Word. How's Lost Guy doing these days?
Lost Guy good. He just enjoying. He taking a little break right now because he didn't been doing it for so many years.
Shit, now I can dig it. Sometimes you gotta recharge them motherfucking batteries.
So you know, he kind of put me in a bind and shit because I'm producing an album, but I only wanted to produce the album and just maybe do a few hooks. I wanted to put a group project together where it was my artist EBS Tiny Dudes, Gourmet, and Lost Guy. But Lost Guy just kind of like he was just kind of burnt out. You know, he didn't have no more steam at the moment. So I'm like, I just can't sit still and I had nothing going on. So I decided to just rap and just put my vocals on it and say, fuck it. And just make the whole marketing thing, schematic thing around me being in this wheelchair and being the flyest nigga on 4 wheels.
Yeah, I heard that shit. Turn tragedy into triumph, right?
And you do know that.
Shit, what's up with EBS Tiny Tootsie?
Hey, that Tiny Deuce.
Tiny Deuce, my bad.
Tiny, he good. He got some Tiny Deuce got a few singles he got going on right now. That's on the platform, the Apple Music, Pandora, and Spotify, and YouTube. You can go type, people who whoever does listen to this interview, you want to listen to some new artists from the West Coast, that street shit, that real authentic street shit. Check it out on all digital platforms. And if you want to hear some seasoned games, some veteran type player shit, you know, listen to that Gourmet. Go on Spotify and go follow Gourmet and follow EBS Tiny Deuce. You know, they're my guys.
Man, Tiny Deuce shit go hard as shit. I didn't know he had new music. I would have been posted it. It'd be hard. It'd be hard to keep up with everybody. I know like 150 rappers now. I can't. It'd be hard to keep track of everything that come out.
You the man, man. You the man. I feel like we was probably one of the first ones that you started the campaign when you started doing the interviews from home. I'm not sure who came before me, but I felt we was probably one of the first ones.
Oh, no, y'all was definitely the first. You remember where Lost Guy was sitting when we did the interview?
Right there where you at.
Yeah, but it ain't have none. It ain't have none of this shit.
Yeah. I can see it. You have you added more to it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, record racks.
But it's a dope spot to do a in-depth interview.
Yeah, I wish I would have had time to kick it out here. I could. Tampa ain't all that, but it is some dope shit.
I loved it. I mean, when we left you, I said, man, fuck that. I don't want to get back on the road and go back to Atlanta right now. I want to go drive. At least let's take an hour and just drive around the city and just see what it looked like. Just to say we experienced Tampa a little bit. So we went over there by what's the name of the football stadium? Raymond something.
Yeah, Raymond James.
Raymond James Football Stadium. I'm like, this is like the ghetto. This kind of remind me of the USC Coliseum in LA. The Coliseum is surrounded around, you know, the ghetto. That's what the Buccaneers Stadium remind me of. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I ain't never even been to that, John, to be real with you.
And then we went over to where the Tampa Bay Rays played baseball, right? I think it's in downtown.
Yeah, I can't tell you the name of that one. I ain't been there neither.
But what I really want to do is I want to see Tampa's beautiful beaches and shit. I want to see where all the beautiful girls be hanging out in the summertime or when the weather's warm and they dressing less. I want to go there. And I know it's beautiful.
You gotta go to St. Petersburg. That's the spot.
Then let's go to St. Petersburg when I come back. We passed it. Matter of fact, we saw the exit to St. Petersburg when we came to come to your spot.
Oh yeah, St. Petersburg, man. We taking my daughter there for her birthday in 2 days. But yeah, St. Petersburg, live as shit.
I want to go when I come back. I always have plans that double back and coming back and just come visit you and stuff, and you can go hang out and really actually just hang out and have a good time.
That'd be vicious. I love that. That'd be super vicious.
But I knew we was on a tight schedule because we had to get back to the A. But and then like, you know, I've helped a few people in the game, like RIP Gonzoe. Me and Gonzoe had some good conversations. We had our ups and downs, but you know, we had a little funny little issue when we went to go because the comedian Eddie Griffin was putting a show with VH1, right?
Right.
And he was looking for talent. Gonzoe was like, I knew Gonzoe was like, be you in a wheelchair, you do all this, you do the boys videos, and every time you with us at the shows, you got your camera in your hand, you filming and all that. You spent the money on gas and you know what I'm saying, you spend money on food for the boys and shit. Like you really was everything to your crew. You know what I mean? You did everything. You made the beats, you recorded them, or you taught them how to record themselves. You know what I mean? Et cetera. And he was like, I got something for you with Eddie Griffin. And Eddie Griffin was looking for up and coming talent. So we had did a show with him in New Mexico in Albuquerque. 3 days later, we ended up linking up with Gonzoe. But Gonzoe had a cousin. Earlier that day, Gonzoe went to go meet with his cousin that was from Swans. Swans is a blood neighborhood on the east side of LA. And my artist Create, he was from East Coast Crip, which is they're like neighboring enemies. So he was skeptical about going over there because he don't know who's gonna see him and feel some kind of way and do something and shit like that, right? Now, remember I told you how the streets of LA is real. When you see someone, you own them. If it's war, it's up. You did?
Right.
So he was like, man, I'm not fucking with that shit, man. Fuck that. So I told Gonzoe, I'll just meet you in West Hollywood when you go when we go meet up with Eddie Griffin and shit. And we did. It was a real meeting. We meant to go meet up with him, had a good time, but Gonzoe was high off cocaine and shit. So Gonzoe, like, you know, he just besides himself. He stands up, start yelling, These niggas don't know what the hell they talking about. Tell them, these niggas like 15, 16, 17 years old. They don't know nothing. And then this is the first time I ever seen Eddie Griffin in person get mad or feel some kind of way and check Gonzoe. He told Gonzoe, he said, hey, your volume's at 11. I need you to bring it down to 1. And we all, Gourmet, Lost, and my boy Create, we looked at each other like, what the fuck did this dude just say? What the fuck did Gonzoe just say in the first place? And what the fuck? And the response that we had that Eddie Griffin did was like, what? But Eddie Griffin didn't want none of my, he didn't want the boy. He didn't want Lost. He didn't want Create. He didn't want Gourmet. He wanted me on part of his show. And the way Gonzoe was acting and shit, Gonzoe ended up leaving the meeting. Like he ended up saying, you know, I'm out of here. I'm finna go. I gotta do a song with Yuck Mouth anyway. I'm gone. Just call me when you're done, B. I guess you know more than me, so I'm out of here. And I looked at the nigga like, damn, bro, you gonna just leave me at the table with this nigga? And I don't even know this nigga. I mean, I fuck with you, my nigga. I don't fuck with Eddie. I don't even know this dude.
Right.
But me and Eddie Griffin will always know each other and always have a relationship because of the shit that transpired that day. You know, and Eddie Griffin had told my boys to slap my legs and shit to help my nerves back to working again. This nigga, Eddie Griffin slapped my knee and shit and hit his hand on the table and fucked his hand up. And you hear that nigga say, ah, shit. And I said, that's what the fuck you get, goddamn. What the fuck you get? I told your motherfucker to stop shit. But Eddie Griffin was good people's. He had a heckler in that room that was getting on his nerves, so we ended up leaving up out of there because he felt like Eddie Griffin was like, man, if we don't get up out of there, I'm gonna end up doing something to this cat. So we, you know, he was good to us, man. He, you know, he chopped up with us until he had to leave. But there was an altercation that happened in the parking lot when Gonzoe got up from the table and left. My boys went out there with him, and Gonzoe made a scene with his cousin about my boy being from East Coast and how scared he was about coming over there to the Swans neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what happened, but whatever happened out there, motherfucker, they couldn't wait to tell me about it when they got in the car.
Yes.
You feel me? And then we going home, and I'm loyal to the soil. In so many ways, I gotta say fuck Gonzoe and be loyal to my crew. But that's the way I was thinking at the time. You know, what I should have did was what I wish I would have been more of a seasoned boss and to learn how to delegate between both of them to bring them together to diffuse the bullshit.
Right.
But still, I just kind of like said, fuck it. It don't matter. Fuck Gonzoe. We're just going our way, you know?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't too hip to Gonzoe, to be honest with you. I'd heard of him before, but
right. But Gonzoe was, you know, he was just a person that was just and always in all kind of shit. I mean, not always in all kind of shit, but I was connected with so many people.
Was he in the regime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I definitely got him on that Dragon album then. So I've heard him.
Before the regime, he was part of that rap group called Caution.
I ain't hip to them.
That Ice Cube put out. They had a big record called "It's the Rhythm That Takes the Dance to We Got to Live Through." What you gonna do? It had Ice Cube on the hook. But it was a big record on the West Coast.
Was they the light-skinned dudes that was always rapping about dressing good? I remember he had like a group that was like you know what I'm talking about? They had like songs about polo and shit. And they had like one Ice Cube hook.
That ain't them. That ain't them. But you know, I mean that's just something that if you like, you can do some research to look who Gonzoe and Caution was. But he was part of this West Coast, part of the West Coast movement at the time.
Yeah, I can see that by the response that he was definitely an important person.
And he was one of the first people that was trying to connect me with City Hall Records, a distribution situation out of San Francisco, to release one of my first projects. But I would, you know, and then he was going to hook me up with digital distribution and shit. But I was so skeptical about doing business with people that I didn't jump to doing it. And it would just so happen I just ended up bumping to Ghazi not too much longer after me working with Gonzoe.
So with Gonzoe though, you know, from the notes you sent me, you must have had a pretty deep relationship. You stopped the beef between him and Bad Azz, R.I.P.
Gonzoe was my boy. Me and Gonzoe talked almost every day. That was my dog. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know Bad Azz said that Gonzoe was part of the conglomerate along with some other niggas and shit that got him jumped with Suge Knight. He said Suge Knight niggas jumped him, and that Gonzoe was there, and Gonzoe kind of like was hyping the shit up or some shit like that. Some shit like that. I can't recall verbatim what it really was that Bad Azz, rest in peace, rest in peace, both of them dudes. But what it really was. But Bad, I had talked to Bad one day. I said, man, I be talking to him, chopping with Gonzoe. He said, man, put me on the phone with Gonzoe, man. I want to holler about that shit. So I told Gonzoe, I said, Bad want to get at you. And he was like, all right, tell him to send my number. So I had called him. Matter of fact, I called him on 3, man. They was on the phone for like 2 hours on my phone, man, just ironing out their little issues and shit. But by the time they got off the phone, they was cool.
Yeah. Did they ever work together?
I'm not sure if they ever worked in the near future. Everybody kind of like, the West Coast was going downhill. We didn't have many outlets and shit. So a lot of people wasn't really working with each other, doing music and shit. If anything, they were doing their own music. Gonzoe was smart. Gonzoe knew how to Gonzoe always knew how to find weasel his way into a situation. You know what I'm saying? He created this company called Blockwise, and he ended up getting, I think, maybe digital distribution deal or Rap Bay or some shit like that, up in the Bay Area. But he had a situation to where he can put other motherfuckers on with the digital shit. He was new, and he was making content and putting that content up there. And I was like, damn, man, this must be the new thing coming out. Apple Music must be it. But we didn't have streams at the time. Right. We just got downloads. So, ain't too many people gonna download some music that they don't know. It's almost like going to the stores and buying a CD you ain't never heard of before. You ain't taking that chance.
I mean, especially at that time too, people would still want the CDs too. Yeah, but there was still some people that'd be like, I don't want to buy no. They'd be like, I don't want to buy no imaginary shit.
Right, that's true. And a lot of people a lot of people's phones didn't cover. You didn't have Apple. You wasn't getting Apple iTunes.
Yeah, no bullshit.
You know what I'm saying? So, fast forward today, everybody's phone got Apple iTunes or Apple Music on that motherfucker. Even if your phone ain't Apple. Word. People are finding ways, or Spotify. So those are two of the leaders in streaming music, and then you can upload your music to that motherfucker with a digital distribution company. And it's easy to send somebody a link to somebody's phone to go listen to it if you got Apple Music or YouTube or whatever. Word. And they can listen to it without having to go purchase it and shit. Because that's what some people like. I don't want to waste my lunch money on fucking buying some music that I just don't fucking like. I'm not gonna listen to no goddamn way. And then independent music back at that time gives a bad rap because you're not getting the best beats. You're not getting Timbaland. You're not getting Dr. Dre. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the top creme de la creme producers. You getting these up and coming Fruit Loop or the last of the dying breed who use hardware equipment to make beats. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you might get lucky, find you an Arab music, but more likely not.
Maybe. But on the West Coast, you utilize what you could. So, and when you listen to the music, you can tell it sounds good, but it's just not as good a quality as a game album that came out through Aftermath or Geffen distribution or some shit like that.
Right, like compared to his JT the Bigga Figga album.
JT the Bigga Figga now, that's some real independent gutter shit. Now, a lot of people don't know about JT the Bigga Figga. A lot of people, you ever see JT the Bigga Figga live on Instagram or live in something?
Nah. I mean, like you mean like hear him speak? I mean, I've seen him on DVDs.
Okay, well, if you follow him on Instagram, he goes live almost every day. I taught him how to go live because he didn't know how to do it. He didn't even know you could go live to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I always feel good about that one little thing about JT the Bigga Figga. Like JT's Bigga Figga, the Bigga Figga. He taught me way more than I can ever ask for. But I always feel good that I gave him that one little thing that he does well every day. He's always on live every day. And people get to interact and they take the little clips from Instagram and put it on YouTube for the world to see it, for those who missed what he said. And I can be like, man, I had something to do with that.
I feel like, they say Tech Nine's the most successful independent. And I feel like Tech Nine didn't, not copied, but because I mean, you should emulate success that comes before you. But I feel like he probably peeped a lot of game from JT the Bigga Figga.
Oh yeah. But JT learned from E40. E40 E40 uncle, St. Charles Thurman was the one who was giving a lot of the Bay Area artists up on how to do it. He had the numbers on mom and pop stores and stuff like that in a little booklet, and he would, put music in their stores on consignment for artists that was selling music and wanted people to go pick up the music from a certain place. You know what I'm saying? So JT the Bigga Figga learned from watching him and Too Short do their thing. Too Short was first, then E40, and then here come like the JT the Bigga Figgas. But what Fig did with the game was Fig just had like a mouthpiece on him, and Fig was just putting so many people on that his name getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And he learned how to go, get this. He learned how Master P ended up getting this deal with Priority and end up getting a deal with Priority and learning how to flip that and make some money with that and then put that money over here and just keep it going with the music. Putting out DVDs and signing artists like The Game. And, the Game takes, from what I've heard, The Game took the took the music that he did when he was working with JT. JT owned it all, but that was the first demo that The Game had to fucking send it to different labels so he can get picked up by Aftermath. So the music that he was making with JT the Bigga Figga was the music he used to land him his deal with Aftermath.
I mean, you know behind the scenes shit. I'm just curious, how is The Game regarded, and you don't gotta say nobody's name, but amongst most West Coast rappers?
He's definitely in the top 10 for sure.
I'm talking about like regarded as a person.
I always hear so many different things about Game, talking about he weird or he a goofy dude, or I mean, it seems like the women seem to love him, but the fellas I always hear the fellas with a problem, with an issue with him, talking about they don't like the way he get down or his shit. He do bipolar, he this and that. I mean, me personally, I don't give a damn what the dude do. I don't give a fuck. He ain't hurt me. He ain't making me no money. He ain't taking away from money that I'm getting. So whatever he do, let him do it. You know what I mean? Y'all don't have to be around that dude.
How you think that 40 Glocc shit then? And the thing that's weird about The Game to me is, how did that 40 Glocc shit not end up in him getting no charge? I mean, I feel like that if I was at fucking
talking about The Game,
yeah, like I feel like if I was at a Beverly Hills mansion party and I was stomping out somebody in the bushes and Kate Hudson's in the crib, and that shit's on fucking TMZ, that some like prosecutor would try to make a name, and it's just incomprehensible to me.
Well, and I guess in LA terms, real gangsters don't snitch until on top. So
they don't got snitch. You can look at the video.
But you still need cooperation from the Game to consent to what was going on by both parties. If neither party is going to say that person did anything and this person did this, did that, then they're going to throw it out. There's no case to build. Even though you see some shit, neither one is prosecuting each other. Neither one is pressing charges.
So K Hudson done held her water, huh? Because I guess nobody in that house was snitching either. Then,
man, I mean, I guess not. But from what 40 Glocc, from what I heard, 40 Glocc was he was doing was trying to survive because he allegedly he was at gunpoint.
He was at gunpoint.
So that's,
I mean,
but
anybody can draw the lines, but people who know me know that I got some insight into that, and I've seen a different angle. And yeah.
But what I'm saying is everybody's gonna have their own opinions about what happened. You got people side with Game, you got people fuck with 40 because they fuck with 40. You dig? So however it is, it was just a bad look on both parties. Like I hate the fact what their initial issue is. Like if you get down to the nitty gritty of their issue,
I bet you don't even know what their initial issue is. What you think their initial issue is?
50 Cent, the young, all that G Unit bullshit, niggas, but then it's a Crip and the Blood thing. It makes sense to beef with each other because you're a Crip, I'm a Blood. We normally don't like each other no goddamn way, and the Crip niggas over here fucking with 50 Cent. And now Gang got all the Blood niggas fucking with the Black Wall Street. So now it's like we got a reason to thump with each other. We got a reason to be mad with each other.
I heard something different.
It could be different, but
I heard way before that they were at Dr. Dre's house and Game asked 40 Glocc to get on a song, and they did it, and then they gave 40 Glocc a CD of it, and as he was walking out the door, he threw it like behind the bushes, and they seen him out the window do it.
That could be, but what I'm saying is because of them
which is childish
Blood,
too, though.
Yeah, of course, but because of the Crips and Blood shit, it festered more.
Right.
And because 40 Glocc was trying to my opinion, fight for a position with 50 Cent by way of Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep,
you dig?
Yep.
And so I guess what I'm saying is 40 Glocc was trying to show his loyalty to 50 Cent. You feel me? And then he was already fucking with Spider-Loc based off some Crip shit. You know what I'm saying? It was cool on some Crip shit, so and they both rock with 50. So it's like, well, shit, nigga, we rock with you, and you got a problem with this nigga. We'll handle this nigga on the West Coast. We'll go to you. You the one finna put us on and give us the bag. That's how LA niggas rock. If you finna put us on and give us some money, we rocking with you. And if you got beef with somebody else, then we got beef with them because you feeding us.
And that's sense.
That. So however the fact of how what really happened, that's pretty
what
much
it comes down to. Yeah.
The outcome of it is Crip and Blood plus you ride with him and I ride with that. So Compton Menace is the game boy at the time.
Right.
So and they both B-dogs, and he like, nigga, I ain't finna let you. I'm not finna let them, let them niggas double team you.
Word.
So I'm gonna fight on your behalf. But in reality, Compton Menace and 40 Glocc, they some good peoples. You know what I'm saying? Because 40 Glocc showed me a lot of love. Compton Menace showed me a lot of love. I was trying to defuse the shit, and they basically almost fucking tore my head off for trying to defuse the shit because they anger for each other was much more deeper than trying to make peace. And back then it was much important to make the beef because that's the shit that hits the magazines.
That was like the way to get in the industry at the time. You right.
So it's like
we ain't gonna say no names, but some people got on by being tough guys that couldn't rap at all.
Hey man, they say hard work beats talent any day.
Yeah, word. I mean, hey, whatever it takes to make it. Like, you know what? I mean, I ain't trying to segue and shit, but like they be talking about like Waka Flocka can't rap and shit when he first came out and all that shit, right?
Right.
And to me, that made his success more like more impressive. So you mean this motherfucker can't rap? Got a #1 hit, got millions of dollars? Shit.
I mean, but he really didn't have to learn how to be a good rapper, man. You come from an area where they like that shit. Your beats is way more harder than maybe your lyrics and shit. But hell, when you listen to it in the car, it's better than that. Hold on.
Hold on. It's all good. Should be happening. I can always feel the dead time. I know I run my motherfucking mouth, that's for sure. That West Coast shit though, man.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. What I left off
on? 40 Glocc, Compton Menace.
Oh, but I was just saying about them, like that shit was just egged on from them being loyal to their sides. You feel me?
And then you was talking about that they was both good people to you.
Oh yeah, to me, I mean, 40 Glocc was always been good to me. 40 Glocc was one of the ones that allowed me to do an interview on. 40 Glocc was the first person that let me come with him to because he was fucking with Lil Scrappy at one time, real tough. And Lil Scrappy had did a show in San Bernardino, and he allowed me to come fuck with him at the little thing. 40 Glocc was always good people's, man, So, hopefully, I ain't seen him in a long time or talk to him, but I would love whenever it's due to chop it up with him just to say what's up. You know what I mean?
Him and Spider-Loc underrated musically. That's for sure.
It boils down to marketing. The old way of how they used to market is still cool, but they get more attention for the stuff that they say than the music they create. Like nobody gives at a certain point, some people just don't care about the music you make. They care about the noise that you create because nigga, you more controversial and they want to see everything. They waiting every day to see you say something. They don't care about if you finna drop a fucking album or no shit like that. They ain't finna listen to that shit. They don't care. They because this is a young man's game. And if you don't know how to gravitate the attention, if you're not really good, if you're not the top notch shit of this motherfucker, you in trouble. You better be dope. You better be E40 good at 50 something years old. Too Short and Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg good at 50 something years old. And even these artists still, know what to do, but still figuring out how to dominate in the music and from the music aspect. You can sell wine or you can be a TV show host and make more money that way, or be in movies and shit. But music doesn't really make the bulk of the money for the artist like it used to. Word. Especially the oldies on the West Coast. You have to do so many other things in order to have something going on in music. But when you get if you do a music video on YouTube and you get 3 or 4 million views, those are real solid views. So when you do a show, the people at the show know the songs because they really are real fans and listen to the music. Right. So that's the way that you're going to, if as an artist, that's the way that you're going to have to get your money, is put your music on YouTube and then go do your shows.
And have merch, man. I know it's a lot of them legendary West Coast cats that ain't affiliated with a label now. Their merchandise game is slacking.
Man, we really don't have a lot of West Coast artists that really are heavy on their market, their merch. You got a few people like E40. E40 has a couple little sick with it logo sweaters and hats and beanies. But if I was with E40, I'm like, E40, where's the E40 logo at? You know what I'm saying? Like E40 doing so many things with like wine, beer, like he got his liquor thing going on. The merch probably is like the third there. He's even selling lumpa, like lumpa, Filipino egg rolls and shit, and some shit like that. Burritos, like he got this thing called Goon with the Spoon. That's like his new brand of food products and shit coming out.
Oh, that's dope. I don't understand why cats don't just put out t-shirts with their old album covers on it. Everybody likes that shit.
Some do, some don't. Some people don't care. Like,
or maybe the record company might own it though. Like Jive might have something to say about that shit.
No. E40 owned everything. That was the deal that he made with Jive. Jive was just a distributor. He was an independent. He was independent under Jive.
You know, I interviewed Bun B, and he told me, I was like, "What's the first thing? Do you remember meeting E40?" And he was like, "Hell yeah!" The first thing he said to me, he looked at me, and he said, "Don't sign."
Oh yeah. Yeah, but they end up getting a bad deal with Jive Records. I think they were more of the artists.
Well, it's what you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? E40 must have negotiated some good shit. They ain't what you're worth, it's what you negotiate.
But E40 was selling E40 was doing 50 to 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000 copies on his own.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to shop around for the best contract when you're sitting on some finances. You know what I mean?
So E40 had a 70-30 with Jive. E40 had to come up with his own finances to market and budget his music videos and get it placed. But then, Bob Weiss, he said, well, with our infrastructure, we'll make sure you'll get over in different markets and shit with the way that we method and push the music. So, there was a good deal. He's like, I get 70%, get 30. E40 first album on Jive in a major way I think it sold 1.5 million records overall, maybe double platinum now. But that was me, 1.5 times $7.
Right. It's a lot of fucking money.
So that's a lot of money for an artist. And if you just keep it going, that's more money. Then you got to think he probably getting 10 bands per show at that time, performing 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? That is 10,000, 30,000, 3 weeks, you're making about 60,000 a month.
Yeah, damn, that ain't bad at all.
That's goddamn good money.
Yeah. My wife a teacher, she'll make 60,000 in a year.
But the turn of luck, because we got this technology and we got hip hop, and it's how you network and market your shit, 60,000 could be something that she can make per day.
Yeah.
Like you guys are in control of y'all Fortune 500 company, depending on y'all diligence, y'all grind. Yeah,
but I think her focus is more teaching disadvantaged children.
That's cool.
Like it's about what makes you feel good. In her case, I don't think a higher salary would necessarily make her feel as good as the satisfaction of doing the job. You feel me?
But let's say this show we on right now, you start picking up steam. Revolt hit you up, Puff Daddy hit you up and say, hey, man, we want to put your channel on Revolt, man. You doing some good shit. You getting some good numbers, some good views and shit. Let's give you a deal, Mark. I'll fuck with you. You did? And then they offer you $10 million for 3 seasons. You do your 3 seasons, and then there's another pot of gold for something greater than what you've been doing here. Now you changing the trajectory of your family finances and shit.
Word.
All because you was consistent with something you love doing. You found a way out of no way. And I'm just saying, I love your background. It reminds me of something that can go bigger and further in the future.
Man, I hope so, brother. I'm working towards it.
You're on the case like a lawyer, man.
That's what's up. Hey, man, you know, to be real with you, man, we're not even halfway done. Yeah, I think we should turn this into a 2-parter.
Man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm here. We can do it. You want to do 2-part? We can do it. We can do to be continued. I got stories for years.
All right, that's that. All right, word. So we're gonna do a 2-parter. Let me stop this jump real quick. Super Facts Show. And make sure y'all check out part 2.